Welcome to 1 Samuel, a book that marks a turning point in the story of God's people. Israel stands at the edge of transition, moving from a loose collection of tribes into a unified nation. The days of the judges are fading, and a new chapter is beginning, one shaped by prayer, leadership, obedience, and the cost of choosing a king. At its heart, 1 Samuel is a story about leadership and the tension between trusting God and demanding control. It asks hard questions that still echo today. Who should lead God's people? What does faithful leadership look like? And what happens when outward appearance matters more than a surrendered heart? The book opens not with a king or a battlefield, but with a woman praying. Hannah is barren, misunderstood, and deeply distressed. In her pain, she pours out her soul before God, promising that if she gives her a son, she will give that child back to him. God hears her prayer, and Samuel is born. True to her word, Hannah dedicates Samuel to the Lord, placing him in the care of Eli the priest. This quiet beginning sets the tone for the entire book. God is already at work behind the scenes, raising a leader long before the nation realizes it needs one. While corruption grows among Eli's sons and spiritual leadership falters, God calls Samuel, not through spectacle, but through a still, persistent voice in the night. Samuel learns to listen, and his life becomes a testimony that God still speaks and still guides his people. As Samuel grows, Israel grows restless. The people look around at neighboring nations and demand a king to lead them like everyone else. Their request is not just political. It reveals a deeper spiritual struggle. They are rejecting God as their true king. Though grieved, Samuel obeys God and anoints Saul, a man who looks every part of a king. At first, Saul appears humble and capable. But over time, his insecurity and impatience are exposed. He begins to act on fear rather than obedience, offering sacrifices he's not authorized to make and sparing what God commanded him to destroy. Saul's downfall is not marked by a single dramatic failure, but by a pattern of partial obedience. God rejects Saul as king, reminding Samuel and us that obedience matters more than outward success. God then sends Samuel to Bethlehem to anoint a new king from the family of Jesse. One by one, Jesse's sons pass before Samuel, each impressive in stature and strength, yet God chooses none of them. Instead, he points to the youngest, a shepherd named David. In this moment, one of the book's most enduring truths is spoken. God does not look at the outward appearance, but at the heart. David is anointed in private, while Saul still sits on the throne. The transition is slow and painful. David enters Saul's court as a musician and warrior, gaining favor with the people. When David defeats Goliath, his faith in God stands in sharp contrast to Saul's fear. Saul's jealousy grows, and David is forced into years of exile, hiding in caves and wilderness places. Yet, even while being pursued unjustly, David refuses to take Saul's life when given the chance. He honors God's timing and God's authority, choosing righteousness over revenge. Through David's restraint, 1 Samuel teaches us that true leadership is forged in waiting, suffering, and trust, not shortcuts. Throughout the book, we see a powerful contrast between Saul and David. Saul clings to power. David clings to God. Saul is consumed by fear. David is shaped by faith. One seeks to protect his throne. The other learns to surrender his future into God's hands. 1 Samuel reveals a God who is deeply involved in raising leaders, correcting pride, and shaping hearts. It reminds us that God's plans unfold over time, often in hidden places, long before they become visible to others. Leadership, in God's eyes, is not about image, control, or strength. It is about obedience, humility, and trust. As the journey through 1 Samuel begins on day 74, this book invites us to examine our own hearts. Are we listening for God's voice? Are we willing to obey, even when it costs us? And are we trusting God's timing or demanding our own way? This is day 74. This is 1 Samuel, and this is His Time. Every day, all year.